Alright, this episode matters. Not because it's the wildest idea in the series, and not because we're about to drop some huge new Mandela Effect that blows your mind. This one matters for a different reason, because if you've been following along, you've probably had at least one moment where you've felt it. That strange mix of fascination and unease. The feeling that you're looking at something familiar, but it's not landing the same way anymore. Like the world is almost the same, but not quite. And the more you notice these things, the more your mind starts doing what it does best. It starts trying to stabilize reality. It starts trying to make the timeline behave. It starts trying to force certainty back into a world that suddenly feels flexible. So tonight isn't about proving the Mandela Effect. Tonight is about what happens after you believe it. What happens after the shift becomes something you can't ignore anymore. What happens when you're awake enough that you can see the seams, but you still have to live your life inside the same world as everyone else. Because here's the truth nobody really says out loud. Waking up is one thing. Staying steady once you're awake, that's the real skill. And I want you to have that skill because this series isn't meant to make you spiral. It's meant to make you sharper, calmer, and more in control of your own experience. So if you've ever felt overstimulated by it, or you've ever felt like the more you notice, the harder it is to switch your brain off, this episode's for you. Let's start here because this explains so much. Your brain is built for survival, and one of the main ways it keeps you safe is by assuming the world is stable. Same objects, same rules, same history, same cause and effect. That stability is how your nervous system relaxes. So when you experience something that threatens that stability, like a Mandela Effect that you're genuinely certain about, your brain doesn't treat it like a fun mystery. It treats it like a threat to the map. And if that map is wrong, then your mind goes into that very specific mode. It starts scanning, it starts comparing, it starts running scenarios, it starts looking for the next mismatch. And that's why some people get hooked on this topic in a way they don't fully control. It's not because they love trivia, it's because their brain is trying to rebuild a sense of certainty. So the first thing you need to know is, the intensity you feel isn't weakness. It's your system trying to stabilize reality again. The trick is learning how to stabilize yourself without needing the world to behave perfectly. Now this is a line we have to draw, because it's the difference between power and burnout. Awareness is when you notice the Mandela Effect and you keep your feet on the ground. You don't deny it, you don't panic, you just acknowledge it. You file it away, you stay curious, and you keep living. Obsession is when your brain decides it needs certainty right now, and it starts chasing proof like oxygen. And that's when you end up doing things like checking every logo, re-watching every scene, rereading every quote, searching old threads, old forums, old screenshots, looking for the exact moment the world changed. And I'm not judging that, because I've been there too, and a lot of you have. But it's not sustainable, and more importantly, it doesn't actually solve the problem. Because even if you prove one example beyond doubt, the bigger question is still there. So if you want to stay grounded, you need to shift the goal. The goal isn't to solve every Mandela Effect. The goal is to become the kind of person who can hold uncertainty without losing peace. And that sounds simple, but it's actually the hardest part of waking up. This is where it gets weirdly lonely. Because even if you're feeling all of this, life doesn't pause. You still have bills, work, responsibilities, families, things to do. The world doesn't care that you just had a reality-shaking realization. And the hardest part is that most people around you are still living like reality is fixed. So you're sitting there with this awareness, and you realize you can't really talk about it with everyone. Not because you're scared, but because you already know how it goes. You bring it up casually and someone laughs. You bring it up seriously and someone shuts down. You bring it up with curiosity and someone tells you you're overthinking it. And after a while, you stop talking about it and you start carrying it quietly. That's the part that can mess with you, because when you can carry something quietly long enough, it grows teeth. So part of staying grounded is not trying to force it into the rooms where it doesn't belong. You're not here to convert anyone. You're here to understand your own experience and find your people. If this series hit you in that I thought I was the only one kind of way, hit like on the video because it helps more people find it. And subscribe if you want the rest of this arc, because the next episodes take us from what's happening into what can we do about it. Alright, it's time to keep going. Now this is the part where people expect me to say something soft and motivational, but I'm going to say it like a straight truth. If reality feels flexible, your stability can't come from reality. It has to come from you. Because if your peace depends on the world making sense, you're going to be wrecked the moment something doesn't. So you need anchors that are personal, physical, and repeatable. Not theories, not opinions, not debates, real anchors. For some people, it's routine. A morning coffee, a walk, a gym session, a ritual that tells your body, I'm here, I'm safe, I'm present. For other people, it's music, or creating, or being around family. Or stepping out at night and reminding yourself that the universe is bigger than whatever chaos is running through your head. The point isn't where your anchors are. The point is that you have them, because the Mandela Effect messes with certainty, and anchors restore it. Not by proving anything, by stabilizing the part of you that needs the stability. Alright, let's be honest. If you dive into this topic online, you can find anything. You can find genuine discussions, real pattern tracking, thoughtful theories. And you can also find fear, doom, paranoia, absolute certainty about things nobody can prove, and people turning every single detail into some massive end times event. And if you're not careful, the internet becomes a kind of amplifier. You go online feeling curious, and you leave feeling tense. So you need to treat online research like fire. It's useful, it's powerful, but if you put your face too close to it, it burns you. So here's a rule to keep you sane. Research in short waves, then come back to your life. Don't live in the research, because when you live in the research, you stop experiencing reality directly, and you start experiencing it through other people's fear, and that will mess with your internal compass. Your experience comes first, everything else comes second. Now this is something I want you to actually try, because it changes everything. Start keeping a simple reality log, not a novel, not a dramatic document. Just a small note on your phone where you write down 3 things. What you noticed, how it made you feel, and what was happening in your life at the time. Because what this does is it takes the energy out of your head and puts it somewhere stable. It stops your mind from looping, and over time it gives you something even more important. Pattern recognition, that's yours. Not borrowed, not influenced, yours. And once you have your own record, the topic becomes calmer, because you're not chasing proof anymore. You're tracking your own experience like an investigator. Quietly, calmly, without panic. That's how you stay grounded while staying awake. Alright, I want to pull you in here because this is the point where the audience becomes part of the map. Here's our poll question. What helps you stay grounded when reality just feels off? Is it A, routine and normal life? Or do you find comfort in B, research and pattern tracking? What about C, music, creativity or distractions? Then there's D, talking with people who get it. I want you to vote now, and in the comments, tell me the honest truth, not the cool answer. When you first noticed Mandela effects properly, did it excite you or did it unsettle you? Because most people feel both. And if you're excited about part 6, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, because that's where we talk about the question people whisper but rarely say out loud. If the shifts are real, can we shift again on purpose? Here's my last word on this one. You don't need to choose between being awake and being happy. You don't need to sacrifice your peace to understand reality. And you don't need to carry the entire mystery on your shoulders like it's your job to solve the universe. The Mandela Effect is strange, and it's real in the sense that the experience is real. You've felt it, you've noticed it, you've watched it stack up. But your life is still your life. And if your reality really is flexible, then your ability to stay grounded might be the most powerful thing you can develop. Because the people who are the hardest to move are the people who know they are. So stay curious, stay sharp, keep your eyes open, but don't lose yourself inside the fog. Once again, I'm Mike. Stick around and watch another one of our stories if you can. And as always, make sure you stay curious and share what you know with anyone that is happy to listen. I'll see you then.